Yo, what up, everybody? You already know Sly K Loco here with another episode of CannaConvos, and today we got a special guest, Russ Spartan Grows. Man, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm chilling, killing, acting like a villain. You already know what I'm talking about with the villain. Yeah, for everybody out there, if you don't know, Spartan is a very knowledgeable young man here, man. You have been killing it out there in the industry. You're in Michigan, right?
Yep.
In Michigan, they have you guys are really doing a lot of good work over there. You guys got conventions, everything like that.
Yeah, man. I really love Michigan. Michiganja, I like to call it.
Michiganza, huh? I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't heard of that one before. When did you guys go recreational?
So, well, yeah, we got medical first at 2008. Recreational came in 2015. So 2008, Michigan stands out. It's not the only place, but it's one of the few that has like a caregiver system, and that's really how I got started in growing cannabis. Period, was as a medical caregiver for my uncle.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I grew cannabis before I ever smoked it. I grew it, and it was 100% medicinal because I was growing it for my uncle who was sick with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So,
oh shit, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh well, it was a life changer for me, honestly, because my uncle was
a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, well, my uncle was exactly. But I remember getting it was a Facebook post he had made. And he had kept it secret from myself, at least. I don't know who else in the family he may have told, but he was fighting cancer. But he had made a post on Facebook that said, well, the doctors have sent me home and they told me I have like 2 or 3 weeks left to live. And to get my affairs straight, I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So if you want to see me, come on out or whatever. And I made that post. I replied to that post and I said, the doctors don't know shit. I got medicine. I'm coming over.
Nice.
And so that was my journey started on making, not only was it cannabis, but was to make RSO or cannabis oil. And because he was a medical patient, he couldn't really smoke anyway. So I made him cannabis oil and worked with him. And a year later, he was diagnosed. It was this January of the next year. He was diagnosed cancer free. Not only did he go past the 2 to 3 weeks when the doctor said there's nothing more we can do for you, the RSO was able to. Yeah, I mean it was a journey, and we worked with the doctors amazingly. Like one thing I noticed too is cannabis like kind of enhances other medicines. So especially blood thinners is a big one. His blood thinner we had to keep bringing down as I was upping the dose of the RSO. And so all kinds of these little things, working with actual medical doctors and finding this stuff out and then seeing it with your own eyes, healing somebody you love. I mean, what is more powerful than that?
Yeah, man, that fucking changed you. You were all in, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. To this day, people. I mean, I've upped my game on how I can make RSO. My process, I've refined it a little bit, but the process is a lot of the same of what I've been doing all these years. I never stopped, and ever since that day with my uncle and when I helped him, all of my trim, and then there's my friends and other people in the community that know me will donate product to me just to make into RSO because people reach out in the community when people are sick as well. Or I work with organizations that work with people like that, like the Michigan Weasters, things like that. And we have like this little network, and somebody gets sick or somebody in the family has, cancer, whatever. That RSO is boom in the mail or whatever. I'll take the hand deliver it to your ass, whatever I got to do.
Nice.
And it doesn't cost anything either. So it shouldn't cost you to be sick. You're already, hurting enough.
Right. So
for those who don't know, that stuff is like hundreds of dollars, and it's ridiculous, especially for the doses that you need to get to be, extremely effective.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my. That's
what does ROS stand for?
So it stands for Rick Simpson Oil, and because Rick Simpson,
that story is mad interesting.
Yeah, and he made it really popular. He popularized the process. And that's what most people understand what that is, but it's just cannabis oil, and you can do this with a lot of resinous plants. This is more like a herbal medicine kind of a thing for me. But like I looked at it just like, okay, I'm making a tincture and then I'm boiling that tincture down and I'm left with an oil. I can do that with a million different plants. Yeah. And what's cool is like the intertwining of two different worlds, like herbalism. You take that knowledge and you apply it to this, and then boom, here's your medicine. And it's wonderful. It's something you can do at home. I mean, you don't have to have fancy equipment. I get the fancy equipment because then I can recapture the alcohol after I boil it off, because alcohol is expensive. But you don't have to have that fancy equipment if you just need medicine, you need it fast. You literally, the process, and I'll scream it from the rooftops and tell as many people as possible. The simplified, easy process is you take your plant material, whatever that is, trim, bud, mix of any of those things, and you soak it in alcohol. And you can soak it in cold, you can soak it in warm. One's better than the other, but it doesn't matter. It all works. And then, try to keep it colder is usually better. And then after it soaks for a certain length of time, which people argue some is shorter is better or longer is better, soak that shit. I say, give it at least an hour. And then you filter that plant material out of there, and you're left with an infused alcohol. That alcohol has stripped all of the trichomes, basically melted them. Okay. And everything inside them into the alcohol. Now, some people will drink that because they're absolutely crazy and they love high proof alcohol. I'm not one of those people. But that's a tincture. That essentially is a tincture. It's an alcohol mixture, and then you strengthen it by boiling off that alcohol. So what you're left with is just what you've stripped completely off the plant. So there's nothing more pure than that medicine.
Is it dangerous to boil off the alcohol?
It's only dangerous if you're boiling off the alcohol in a unsafe area. Like it, to be the safest, I would be outside on a hot plate, because then you got the greatest ventilation in the world, right? And the alcohol vapors are going to go off. But I mean, it's not impossible to do it in a house. Like most stoves have the hood above, the little fan thing that sucks the fumes from the exhaust cooking away or whatever. Turn that on, and I wouldn't do it over a gas stove, but electric stove would be right. Yeah, I would just avoid open flames. Yeah,
no open flames.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, common sense, but yeah.
So Rick Simpson oil. Now he created. He's Canadian, right? Yes. And he started that back in. He's actually kind of credited from what I read. Was about him creating medical for Canada or something.
Well, yeah, because what I really admire about Rick Simpson was he knew he was right, because he tried it not only on other patients but himself, and he was willing to go to jail for that. And when you're willing to go to jail for something and you're loud and boisterous, you make a lot of noise and a lot of waves, and those are the stories that all the news wants to hear anyway. And then that spreads far and wide, and it gets people listening. So my hat's off to the guy, because that's putting your neck out there. A lot of people aren't willing to do that, and he did it for the right reasons. So, and I don't think he's even living in Canada anymore, because he's trying to avoid problems with the law now. I think
really,
I haven't checked on like recently, but last I heard he was in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Shit. After he gave the world such a beautiful medicine, and now you got to be running from the law over there in Canada. Like, that has to be fucked up.
I would feel absolutely amazing about myself, though, because I know that oil's out there doing good, man, and fuck what they think, right?
Facts, man. At least you're saving lives, man. That's all I like, because that's what I do about nowadays when it comes to cannabis. Like, I try to give as many people cannabis as I can, especially the alcoholics, because I'm an alcoholic of 16 plus years straight, which was fucking crazy, but cannabis saved my life,
man. My father was an alcoholic, so I mean, I lived it with him, and he just cannabis for the same reasons, man. For the same reasons.
Man. Fuck yeah, dude. And any alcoholics out there, if you guys are trying, now there are some people who can't smoke weed because it, makes them want to drink, which like my friend, it triggers that. And I think that's just like a pattern, like a cycle, because
it's a habit. Because a lot of people like to, drinking and smoking always went together.
Yeah,
right? One, how can you not have the other?
That's what it's for some people. Now, for the rest of the other people, man, just do it, guys. Like, take cannabis over alcohol. For me personally, I'll take a joint if I get in a real bad craving. Just take a couple hits, boom, that craving is gone, and I go about my day feeling fucking better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And what's great is if you just take a little bit of time, like everybody, it amazes me of this world where the people will take like days out of their lives researching some obscure topic of something to prove a point that they were right about something, but when it comes to their own self, their own health and stuff, they don't want it to be interested. They're not interested. They're not interested.
I don't want to do that shit.
I tell people like, I tell people
I want to argue.
yeah. But when I like the topic we were just on with the cannabis and alcohol thing, it's like I try to tell people if you look just into the science of it, cannabis, you're gonna find scientific papers, many of them, about how it has healing properties. You're not gonna find too many of those on alcohol. You're gonna find the majority of them saying how it's like a poison to your body. So you're not taking advice from some guy with a long beard who looks like a hippie. I mean, these these are guys and gals in fucking lab coats, man, and they've got the knowledge and they're doing the work. And so, I mean, that's just the truth of it. Now, if you still just enjoy alcohol, and you know, all power to you if you could keep it under control. Just like cannabis, you can get out of control with cannabis too.
All facts. You know, there's some people who like to fuck people up and make some strong ass edibles and give people panic attacks, which I'm not a fan of. I
don't like surprise dosing anybody. That's
that's
a huge no in my book. That's
a huge no. That's like, because I tell people all the time, like, you have, like, I'm pretty sure it's against the law too. Like,
yeah,
people. So don't fucking do that. Let them know, hey, yo, man, we got some edibles here. But then again, you know, there are those times.
But then there's heroes out there that got to be a hero and be like, I don't care if it's 1,000 milligrams, give me that. Well, that's on them at that point. Just don't be that guy. It's not fun. It's not a fun night. It really is.
It's not a fun night when you have to take care of somebody because they thought that they can handle it, right?
yeah. It'll last a long time because it's going to be like that's an overdose of people say you can't overdose. Well, yeah, that's an overdose.
It's an overdose. It really is. That's why I want everybody to know out there, if you're having a panic attack and you're just like through the roof, like, because I've had them before where I almost cut down my plants. I thought the cops were coming in, fucking like it was
fucking seeing shadows in the windows and shit.
Bro,
and
I haven't been like that in years, and it was because of fucking. I put 34 grams of flour into like 2 cups of butter.
Dude, I was gonna say last time they have to use edibles, man.
Yeah, see, there you go, man.
Do it, man.
Fucking edibles, because it times 5, you know, the cannabis in your liver, so.
And you forget, and then you try to eat some more because it was good or something, or all kinds of stories, man. It's hard to turn it off. There's no off switch, right?
No, there isn't.
CBD, you can do CBD. That helps a little bit. But
actually, you're right. That's what I love. Anybody out there, if you don't know CBD, actually, that's why I love cannabis, is because it like has a fucking component inside of it to calm you down. Like that's so fucking cool.
And the buzzkill is real. Like if you're like if something like I don't know serious happens, like I don't know, you know.
Car crash.
So yeah, car crash out in your front yard, even if you're not involved, and for me, that's a buzzkill because you're like, boom, all of a sudden that adrenaline goes, and it just kicks everything gone. It's gone like that. Like, yeah, I was amazed the first time that happened to me. I was like, oh, that's what buzzkill means. I never really understood. I thought it was just a slang thing for somebody who's, you know, bringing me down, but no, that's an actual thing.
It really is. So I wanted to get into my first question over here, which we actually, like, I ask everybody, well, how did you come up with your name?
Oh, Spartan Grown was an easy one for me because I'm from Michigan, and I live just south of the state capital of Lansing. And the big college there is an agricultural college, and it's Michigan State University, and they're the Spartans. So I'd always been a Spartan fan. My father went to school there as well, so obviously, you know, it runs in the family. So it was Spartan country from the day I came kicking out of the womb, and probably to the day I die. So Spartan's always going to be found in my name, and come on, Grown, that just works. And my symbol that I had that I use on my Instagram and all that with like a Spartan helmet with roots coming out of the bottom was designed by my son. My son designed that for me on his phone. He's like, I can do that for you, Dad. I'm like, really? I was gonna like go on Fiverr or something and pay somebody. He goes, I can do that. Boom, boom. Like literally a half hour later, he comes out with his phone. Is this what you'd like? And I was like, that's better than what I was thinking. Yes, I'll take that. Thank you.
Don't you love it when they just whip out a good idea right away and you're just like, yeah. Boom, took it. Thank you so much. I will use it. So how long have you been growing for?
I've been growing since, well, from my uncle. Yeah. So I would say 2010. It was a couple years after medical was out already. I didn't jump in right away. I had a cousin that was doing medical grow right from the beginning. Well, before and at medical.
14 years.
Yeah. And they kind of showed me that like the ropes and it got me legal. Like, what do I have to do? I got to fill the, you know, all that stuff. And once I started doing that, I just ran with it and never looked back.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful way to start out, man. On the second question, my next question, I was going to talk about the last prisoner project. this is a big thing that like we've been trying to go spread the word about, right? You guys have been doing it a lot more with Let's Be Buds. Did you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Tell the audience.
Yeah, my connection with the funny. Here's a funny story. I don't know if I've told this, at least definitely not on this show, but on other shows I may have. But I kind of suggested when we were kicking around an idea before we'd even decided what charity we were going to support on the Let's Be Buds. Because we never, with the Let's Be Bud show, we weren't really trying to drive and make revenue for anybody. We were just, if it makes any money, we're going to put that back into the show or into a charity. And what charity do we want to support? And we're kicking ideas around. And I knew of the Last Prisoner Project because I live in Jackson, Michigan, and there's a gigantic state prison here. And the Last Prisoner Project became on my radar because they were one of the groups. There was a bunch of groups together helping, but one of the groups to help spearhead an effort to get somebody out of jail here. And they would play games to the end with this guy. They'd let him out at like 3:00 in the morning or something, you know what I mean?
And then arrest him again.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't do that. No, there was news crews there. Even at 3 a.m., they wouldn't have got away with that shit.
Bro, I fucking hate when they do that shit. It's like, why even? Because what they'll do, for those who don't know, if you're in jail or prison, and they'll like make you think that they're letting you out, they'll take you all the way down to the fucking to the booking, unbook you, and then be like, turn you around and put you fucking right back and be like, oh, hey, guess what? We're fucking booking you again. Like, oh my God, bro. I don't know. Have you ever been arrested before? Have you ever been in jail?
No.
Okay.
My father has been, and I've got people in my family, so I know, but I've been lucky enough to keep my head down. And
it happened to me like 2 times. It happened to my friend like just recently. Happened to my friend like a couple months ago. And it's just like, oh, dude, why do they do that? Why do you have to be such fucking assholes where you could just be like, hey, man, you're not getting out today. Just leave me in the cell and be like, yo, you're not getting out today.
Man, I have a hard time understanding who would want to collect a paycheck being a prison guard. I can't. It takes a special kind of person that does not give a fuck.
Look,
or
man,
in a real hard spot.
Yeah, I've seen. So on that note, there is a big balance because there's some people in there who are just straight assholes who were picked on in school, and now they want to pick on the bullies, right? Because they think the people were locked up were the bullies, so now I'm gonna pick on the bullies, right?
So that makes you a bully. So
that makes you the bully, right? But they don't even care because they don't see that, you know. And so sometimes sometimes there's people who are in it who really want to help, but when they get in. For instance, I watched this new lady, this chick. She came in Benton County. I'm over here in Kennewick, Washington, Benton County, and I was in there for like 5 months, right? Well, she came in first month I was in, and she was nice. She was sweet. She tried to help as many people as she could. But when you do that, the people see the weakness, and so they just kept going, kept fucking with her.
Yeah.
No, I think it was like the next year I got locked up again, and here she comes. She comes just fucking thugged out, bro. Just mean mugging, fucking won't help nobody. Like these motherfuckers turned her into an asshole, which is kind of fucked up. But I seen it with my own eyes, man, because she was a good person when she started.
Yes, the system breaks that the guards down just like it breaks.
It's like it breaks the inmates down.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, it's a giant like psychological fucking machine, bro. It's a depressing place just to walk into. Fuck.
Yep, to be in, to fucking do, and there's just so much politics and bullshit, man. It's fucking crazy. Anyways, so the conventions that you were at the, I think it was the Michigan Genetics.
Yep, I just got back. That was just a couple days ago. I was at the Gems and Genetics, Michigan Gems and Genetics. Yep, they had
Genetics. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, it's awesome. In Michigan, they have these caregiver events, and that particular organization, Gems and Genetics, has like 2 or 3 during the year, and he's really a huge supporter of the caregiver community, which is the kind of people that, that's my kind of people, right? So that's who I want to rub elbows with. Those are the people I want to support. So those are the events that I'm usually turned up at. Other than that, the bigger events you'd ever see me at is with I work for Grandmaster LEDs, so we do a lot of
Okay, so you do work with them.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
They flew me out this year I've been to freaking Barcelona, I've been to Germany, and then Berlin, and then they flew me out to Toronto, and I think that's all so far. We're going down to Vegas for the MJ BizCon. I'm excited.
Yo,
first time, so I'm
I'll
excited.
see you there, doggy.
Oh, sweet! Oh yeah, we got a booth down there, so
nice.
That's gonna be cool. I'm excited for that. So
hell yeah, man! I'll see you there. I'm flying in for a couple days, gonna make some content, and then I'm out. But we'll fucking meet up most definitely, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Fucking make a post and shit. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the lighting company. So I got a bunch of questions here, but one question I'm gonna jump to is, what is the UVC for IPM?
All right, this is what honestly I think this is one of the best. It's okay. Let me back up. It's not new, right?
Okay,
it's not new.
I've never heard of this. For those who don't know,
no, it's new to this market. It's new to the United States, really. In that capacity, it's used in the United States in like HVAC systems. They use UVC in like hospitals and things like that to kill bacteria. They put it in the ducting itself because UVC is damaging to us. What's that?
They put it in bidets too, right? To kill like
well, I don't think maybe on the inside, because you don't want the light actually hitting you, because UVC is not good for humans. Well, we saw an expired, not we, let me say our CEO, Grandmaster level, he saw an expired patent for this technology and we kind of redesigned a light for us that we could use in the garden, because what they use it for traditionally in horticulture is in Europe. They have these big booms that will bring the light over in the greenhouses over the plants and just give it a little shot of light, of UVC light, but they're using it for fungicides mostly, but it just also has pesticide properties. So we found with our own testing and our own design that you can hang these two bars. It comes with 2 bars of lights that hang under your canopy facing up underneath your leaves, where the bugs like to hide most of the time. Okay. And you run it in the night cycle, and it's just a UVC light, so it doesn't have any other wavelengths, so you don't have to worry about interrupting the night cycle, the photo period or anything like that. And so it hits them with straight UVC light, but they're only 5-watt bars, so it's 10 watts total. And you only run them for like 15 minutes. 5 minutes is what I would use for an IPM, which means I don't see pest pressure. I'm just making sure if anything wanders in, it's going to get a suntan. Okay. And then, but you can go up to 15 minutes, and then it has an automatic 15-minute shut off. So you can't accidentally leave them on for too long, because you could really damage your plants if you left them on in testing, we didn't have that shut off, and I forgot to unplug the things and left them on for the whole flowering cycle. So it's 12 hours on. Well, it took like 3 days to show up, but the leaves from the bottom up, it was the strangest thing. From the bottom up, started to have burnt edges and curling leaves, and like looking like they just got UV burn. I don't know how else to explain it. And I lost.
What's the C stand for it?
What's that?
What's the C stand for in UVC?
Ultraviolet. Well, they have UV. It's ultraviolet A, B, and C. It's just the 3 different wavelengths. Okay. And it's like kind of in that order of how dangerous it is to us. A and B actually can reach us through the atmosphere, and A is the least hurtful. B is the next hurtful. C is like it doesn't even reach us in our atmosphere. It doesn't even get here, but the wavelength is so freaking strong that if we experience it, it does damage. That's how it kills the bugs. It does damage to their actual DNA. It's not fucking, it's not like something that's like a burn per se or something like that. It's actually messing with their DNA so that it can't really reproduce very well.
So it's kind of like radiation.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah. Okay. So, and what's nice is running them in the night cycle also helps, almost like your traditional bug light, where it draws them to the light. You don't have the lights on above, so they're running for your 5 minutes to 15 minutes, and the lights on, the bugs kind of draw onto that little bit of light, even though it's weak, and it's really damaging them. So they're pretty effective. We've seen people get rid of thrips in between 3 to 8 days. A guy just told us that he got rid of his spider mites, which I wasn't even be able to do it this quick, but he was able to do it within a week. But he was doing 3 15-minute treatments in one day, which I was like, okay, you're kind of pushing it there. I would only recommend going up to 15 minutes, but hey, I like everybody experimenting and seeing what works, honestly.
Did he have an infestation?
Yes, he said he had
Okay.
up to the point to where there's webbing. So yeah.
Fuck. I had that like a couple grows ago. I had some plants that were looking beautiful, brother. They were absolutely beautiful. And then I walk into my fucking room and I open my tent and there's the webbing all around the buds. Just
fucking hate that.
Oh my god. I was so like scared, like freaked out, like what the fuck is that? Like, because it looks like the buds are almost being hugged.
Yeah.
You know, so and then you see the little brown fuckers all crawling around. You're like,
your skin starts crawling.
Yeah.
The last thing that's cool about that light too is it's IP66 rated, which means it's waterproof. And why that's cool is you can spray. So if you did get an infestation, say, fuck, I got that, or you had an infestation before you got the lights in, you know what I mean? You can spray that and it's not going to hurt the lights. You know, they're completely sealed. So, and that's what I would actually recommend. If I saw like an infestation level, like I'm in there, I'm going to fucking spray these goddamn things to do a knockdown, to try to get as many as I can right from the get. And then after I get, you know, dry leaves and I'm good to go again, I'm going to hit them with those fucking lights at night too. And they're going to get the 1-2 punch.
Damn. Okay, so I was thinking about that. How would it go on the bottom? Do you just like slip a light in on the bottom of the canopy? Because like the stem's there, right? So you wouldn't be able to fucking let it go like this.
So I don't know. I'd have to pull it up on the screen and try to find a demonstration because it's very, very hard to describe it. But basically speaking is if you're in we'll say a traditional tent, you know how it's got your poles in the corners. We made like aircraft cable that goes around those tent poles and cinches tight, and then the light hangs on that cable. So so you can go up and down with it. You can just slide it up and down your poles if you want to as the plant grows, if you want to change the height of them. And they also swivel on it, so you can get different angles. If you're like, oh, that back corner always had problems, well, just swivel your light back that way and fucking smash those guys.
Okay.
And then they also float on that line, so you can move them left to right if you wanted to.
Yeah, I was looking back on your Instagram and I saw one of the prototypes, I think it was, that you guys were making. That looked stupid interesting, brother, because I'm just like, I've never heard of this. I've never even seen it. I don't even like, that's why I do this show, is because there's so many things out there that we don't know about as the other like side. Because I feel like this is almost like a commercial thing, almost kind of.
It is,
but
kind of.
like
it kind of does, but it's the same thing. It's like it's exciting because imagine not having to fucking spray. Maybe even if you say I have to reduce my spraying by 90%, that's a godsend to most people. Like, good. I don't want to have to spray my plants for one. I don't want to have to.
What does it do to humans that like is so bad?
Well, you don't want to be in the room because it would be like it would do damage. It would get probably eventually if you were in like extremely long exposure, you'd probably get skin cancers and things like that because it's going to do DNA damage to you too.
Oh yeah,
and that's why it says right in the manual and everything, like don't be in the room with. That's another reason for the dark cycle, because generally speaking, most people don't go in their grow in the dark cycle anyway. So it's another benefit for running it in the dark cycle. But I just have the power cord. It's got a long power cord anyway, but I have it ran out of the room. So I can't plug in the light with me being in the room. The plug for that light is out of the room. So that's how I guarantee my stoner ass will never, be in the room with it, because when I plug it in, I'm not even going to be in the room. So, and then I set a timer on my phone and it beeps in my face to tell me, go unplug that thing.
I got a little suggestion. If you guys were making the next, generation or whatever, you should add a little timer to the plug-in. So where it's just like as soon as you plug it in, or say it's plugged in, you can turn it on and the timer will start. Boom, 15 minutes, and then it turns off right there.
Well, it does have a 15-minute automatic shut off. So if you wanted to, you could just plug it in every night and it'll automatically shut off after 15 minutes. And to reset it, you have to unplug it. So the next day you would unplug it, plug it back in, right before you leave, shut it up and walk out. You could do that.
Oh, sounds perfect, man. That is very interesting. I've never heard about that. Do you think it works on fungus gnats?
Absolutely, it works on fungus gnats. Yes, we've had people already come back with us and tell us that. See, I didn't really have as many fungus gnats to deal with. They gave me the spider mites and the thrips, and I actually had them both at the same time. And it's more effective on the thrips, or faster, I would say, faster working on the thrips. and the spider mites resisted a little bit, and you have to give it those, keep on it with those 15-minute treatments. And well, we infested it. It was ridiculous. They sent me these leaves that there were I think they were lima bean leaves, but they was infested with eggs, and I don't know how many, in the thousands of spider mites. And I just put that in the room and let it go in there for 2 days, and it was just like this. After 2 days, it was just like this. Fuck, because if I'm gonna put my name on something, I want to know it fucking works, right? So
yeah.
So then I was doing these 15 minutes, or I was doing 5-minute trimmings at first, and it was like slowing them down. You could see them kind of still like wandering around on the leaves, but they were still alive and moving. They weren't really eating, like they weren't getting the little white holes on the leaves as much. And I was like, okay, it's slowing them down. So then we went to 10 minutes, then we went to 15 minutes. And then I was like, I'm going here. I'm sick of these things. And I fucking sprayed it one time, and then a 15-minute treatment after that, and I didn't see another one.
Wow.
So with the combination of the spray and then that 15-minute treatment, it was like all it needed. Plus the treatments I had before it obviously were effective at breaking the life cycles of eggs and all that shit.
So fun.
But yeah, it does work and it's effective, but you have to respect it and be careful. Like, don't be in the room.
Is it expensive right now? I'm assuming it's
no. It launched last month, and we've already sold out. I got another shipment coming this month, and it's $225. It covers, it gives you the 2 bars. It covers up to a 5x5 space. So I think it's not super expensive for, especially when you consider what do you pay in your IPM sprays, and then figuring time.
Time is one of the most. Time is one of the most important things to me, man. Because like fucking, as if it's gonna save time, I'll pay the money for it. That sounds fucking amazing. God, I can't wait to use it. Once it comes out and you guys get one, let me know, man. I'll buy one of those.
Well, next shipment should be here next month. So it's first week in November. We should have them. We are accepting pre-orders still on the website, but I'm not shipping until I get them, which is probably going to be the first week in November or something. And that's kind of my job at Grandmaster LEDs, is I'm head of the USA distribution. So anybody gets something ordered from Grandmaster LEDs to the USA, it's probably going through me, unless it's something I'm out of stock of and I have to route it through Canada. But
so you'll be able to give me an autograph on one of that when I order it.
Bro, you let me know when you order. You DM me, and I'll throw some seeds in there for you, bro.
Oh shit! Hell yeah, man. I will definitely do that. When it comes to the seeds, man, I got so many fucking seeds I need to be popping. Like, oh god, I was gonna, because I'm taking a trip out of town, and I'm sick of leaving my plants and not having them set good. Somebody who could take care of them, feed them, whatever. I got the blue mat system now, so watering isn't a big thing. It's just feeding is something that I fucking really want. But then again, I do have organic nutrients, so I could just load it up in the soil and then.
You could do a good top dress.
A good top dress, I'd probably be good for a week. But next thing I'm gonna pop is Mr. Growit's fucking OG. I blanket on it. Oh my god, I'm blanking on. I'm sorry, Mr. Grow. Okay, I'm gonna grow his out, and I'm gonna try to do what I do and make some big ass fucking plants out of it and see what happens.
Sweet.
What strains did the seed person 1 send you?
He sent me Goth Girl seeds, which was his. What was the cross of Goth Girl? I don't have it on. I used to have it right here, but anyways, there was something. When I saw the plant, it was one that got a lot of color, a lot of dark color to it and stuff. And then the lineage I really liked, but I can't. I'm blanking. I can't remember.
Man, we're blanking today.
But I'm excited to grow it, and I'm probably going to throw it in soon. I've been running through some of the genetics I made with. I had some Vortex seeds from TGA Genetics. That it was some of my all-time favorite what I call old weed. I know there's a lot older weed than Vortex, but I mean Vortex was around in the 90s and stuff. Come on.
Okay.
So I took that. I got an old pack of Vortex, and I made more Vortex seeds by just crossing them together with each other. And I call that my Project Vortex, because I wanted to bring Vortex back, kind of a thing. I want more Vortex out there because I love it. And then I took it, and I took a couple of the males that I was using. I took the one I liked the best, which smelled real like a foul side of a mango, like the rotting side. And then I hit that to a couple of my keepers that I already had in the garden, and I made about 5 strains, but there's 3 that I'm really kind of probably will continue working on, and some that I really, really enjoy. Spartan Puke, which is a Donnie Burger cross the Vortex. and that one's just
Spartan
pure.
puke.
Yeah, it's just pure potency, pure potency. Yeah, Spartan
Right.
puke was named by another person in the community, and that Lone Star Larf, shout out to him, and he did that because I was telling the story about Vortex, how the first time I smoked it, it was way back in my early days of caregiving, but the Vortex was one of the first ones, because if you're a experienced smoker, where if you smoked, you know, for a little while anyways, you'll find to a point to where you'll start smoking a strain and you'll get to a point to where, like, I'm not going to get any higher. I can keep smoking this,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get any higher. I'm just wasting weed at this point. Well, I got that way on a lot of my strains where I know where I kind of capped out. Well, Vortex, there wasn't that for me. There was never a cap out. The more I smoked it, the higher I got. And one day I was like, well, what's the end of this? Where does this end? Right. So I started smoking it, and I get, it's a soaring high. It's sativa, like soaring, like it feels like your head is like wanting to fly. Like it feels soaring. So that's what I was feeling. I'm like, oh, this feels good. I was playing some music, you know, it's, oh, this is great. You know, I'm like, all right, here we go. What happens? Boom. I hit it again. And then eventually, like, I was sitting down and the room was started to do the spinning, like when you get too drunk, you know, or at least
Yeah.
me. And I was like, oh shit, that's not cool. We don't want to do the spinny thing. And then I was like, you know what? Let's try one more. It's probably going to cap out. Yeah, one more, and boom, I puked. That's exactly what happened. That's
Oh
the Spartan
shit.
puke. And that was the first strain I ever greened out on to make that actually made me just like, edibles can do that to me. Like, eat too much edibles for sure, but never a fucking cannabis. Yeah.
Not
I'm here to
smoking
admit,
flower, you
Vortex.
mean, right?
Yeah,
Smoking
Vortex
flower
got
doesn't.
me, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Hell
Yeah, so that was always my favorite, because it's like that for some reason, the mix of whatever's in there, it hits my system perfectly. So yeah, across a couple of my strains, I'm happy with what I got, and I'm probably going to work them more. And when I go to these events like Gems and Genetics, I often have those seeds with me, and I like to get some out there to the people, or offer.
Has anybody else had that experience? Do you know of the puking and
Nobody? Well, nobody has brought it up to me yet, so no, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's happened, but I don't know if they're going to be brave enough to say that. Hey, I overdid it.
I would. If I smoked that shit, the
Me
first thing
too,
I would
man.
do would call you up and be like, yo, is there fucking alcohol in that shit? What the fuck?
I've heard that it's THCV is the culprit, because the THCV is supposed to be way more powerful than THC. It's supposed to be an appetite suppressant instead of one that make you give you the munchies.
Okay.
And things like that. So that's why another reason it's like it's one of those more rare terpenes, or maybe that wouldn't be a terpene, that'd be a cannabinoid. One of the more rare cannabinoids that I think it's going to be hot. It's going to be the new hot thing. Watch in a year or two. You're going to see THCV stuff if it's not already out there. I don't get out to the dispo as much. It's not really my scene. But
so a while ago, my wife was like, she was dealing with diabetes, and we were sitting there and trying to figure out what can we do, to help her not munch so much, because weed just gives you the munchies. It fucking does. And
absolutely. And some strains are way worse than others, for sure.
Oh, way worse than some. So I started doing the research. I was like, is there a strain that doesn't give you the munchies? And that THCV, one of those ones came up. They said like it was a haze or something might have that too. And I was like,
a lot of the hazes, and I think maybe Jack Herrera.
Jack Herrera. There you go. Okay. That those have that property too, but if they can come up with one that really legitly has a lot of THCV, you say, oh man, that's gonna be a game changer, bro. That's gonna be a game changer, because that is why.
Imagine that. Yeah, imagine the reverse of the munchies. If you could just turn that appetite off when you needed to, how fucking game changing. How much money could you just save the average person?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In eating, and on top of it, their health. There's a lot of people out there who don't smoke because it gives them the munchies, and they're so conscious about their body that they just don't want to, eat like that. Like they would love to get high, but they stuff their face with it.
I would encourage them to look into the research, though, because the average person who consumes cannabis has a lower BMI than the person who doesn't consume cannabis. Last time I looked, maybe it's old research now, but I was really surprised when I saw that. That's why it's stuck in this old mind, man. But I was like, wow, really? I wouldn't expect that. But it's got something to do, as they think that, when I'm sure you've experienced when you're talking about you experienced the extreme end of it, but just that the quickening of the heart. You know, when you hit something, that's also going to affect your metabolism, right? And you know, when I do a big dab, which is a concentrated fucking hit, I'm sweating, dude. It's like I just ran a damn mile. Now it's not going to be as great as if I would have got off my butt and ran that mile, but it's still better than just sitting here and never gotten warm to begin with. At the same time, it does something to your metabolism. I'm 100% convinced of it for sure. So I think it does help. But if you find a strain that makes you eat, there are strains that would make me eat everything in this house, whether I liked it or not, kind of a thing. And I just avoid those strains.
yeah, I try to. I see edibles do that to me, man. When I get
edibles are bad for that. RSO does that to me.
Yeah, shit, man. So I have not really dabbled in RSO that much. I did a little bit, but it didn't hit me the way that everybody says. You know, like it's supposed to knock you on your fucking ass. You're not supposed to take 1,000 milligrams, right? Well, like my wife, she's a mad stoner. So she's like, one day we got some in Oregon and ate the whole syringe. She ate the whole fucking syringe, man. Took it to the dome and barely even got high, dude. I was just looking at her like, I think that's normal, babe.
No. I've had a half gram, like in my early stuff, my crude versions of it test for a half gram at 300 milligrams of THC. So if it's not hitting it, it's going to be either one of two things. It was never decarbed, which is very common. So if they didn't decarb it, it's all THCA, which is still medicinal, but you're not going to feel as much of the effects, and it's not as medicinal as if it were decarbed, in my opinion.
Because it's not activated, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Or there's something with the metabolism that didn't work out great. One thing you can help with that is drink something warm, like a warm tea, warm coffee, cocoa, whatever, something hot that helps break down that oil, helps your body break down that oil, and digest it better. It also makes a difference on if your stomach was empty or had a bunch of food in it. I like to have a little bit of food in my stomach just so you're already digesting something and kicking everything off.
Okay. I could see that. So I was looking back in your post and I said that you are to use red spectrum for autos to get a bigger yield. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, because autos you don't have control of veg so much to say as well, where photo period growers, you get to, if you fuck up or the plant grows slower than you want or whatever, you can just give it more time to get to where it's branching to where you want it to before you want to flip to flower.
Yeah.
But you don't get that. You don't get that with autos. But you can still crop steer basically with plant light, with the light spectrum that your plant receives. And if you give them a lot of that red spectrum, the plants elongate. They like to stretch because it's really kind of like a shade avoidance. When they get that red, in nature, generally speaking, they're not going to get that red too often unless it's filtered light through something else. And then it's trying to grow tall to get past that, to get back into the full spectrum. So all that red light is going to trick your autos to kind of stretch a little bit. If they're staying too short or they flip too quick or whatever, you can get them in the first little bit of stretch of flower, the bolting of flower, whatever you want to call it. You can kind of trick it into still kind of continue to stretch a little bit to give you that size that you're looking for.
Wow, that's interesting. Stupid interesting, man. I never even heard of that. Never thought of that. I always thought that if you had an auto and it was short, then it's short. Dear fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not going to be a miracle. It's not going to be a miracle, but it's still this is eking out the edges of things, right? You want to be able to be a good grower and get to the end first. And once you do that, then you can start adding all this extra, I don't want to say bullshit, because it's interesting. Like you said, to me, it's interesting as fuck. And it's what keeps me interested in growing forever, because there's so many factors.
So many
now variables. We're talking about, with Grandmaster LEDs, we got 4 or 5 lights now that are spectrum tuning. So now you can play with spectrums. That's just introducing however more factors, because not only do you get to change your spectrum that you're growing under for veg or flower, you can change that spectrum within the day if you want to.
Yeah, I was looking back at one of your posts and they were showing how they did like a spectrum early, like it's kind of where the morning was raised or the sun was rising, and then a fucking straight in the morning, or I mean like a noon with no clouds, and then you got another spectrum for like in the evening, and then a red spectrum for at night, right?
Yep.
And so all that is changed off of one light.
Yeah.
Right? So like And I'm assuming they're daisy chains, right?
Yeah, you can daisy chain them together, and it's all ran off a controller.
And the controller, and then you just change the
Yeah,
fucking
you just
spectrum.
set the controller how you want it to run, and it should keep everything running for you.
That is so fucking sick, man.
Like for me, I kind of simplified it. Not as in depth as that one post was. That was kind of showing like how crazy you can get with it. But for me, is I have what I call my base spectrum, which is kind of like a orangey HPS spectrum, a little bit more full spectrum than HPS. But that's my base flowering spectrum. So I start with that, and then in the middle of my day, for the middle 3 hours of the day, I go almost all blue to simulate the noontime sun, where it's mostly blue. So I do that because there's been a white paper I just read about a month ago that was saying that if you're flowering under a full spectrum light where they've got pretty much all the colors that they need and everything, if you then supplement blue, which we kind of did this back in the day anyway, it'll increase the cannabinoids. So it's kind of like the HPS days where people were HPS and growing under HPS last week or so. They'd flip in the middle halides to hit them with some blue. Same fucking kind of thing, but I'm doing it during the middle of the day. So this is the first run of me doing it to see if there's any difference, but it's fun to play with it. And
yeah, it's fun to find out, right?
Yeah.
Document and shit. Have you noticed anything at all?
Man, I don't have, I haven't tested it, but I mean, just looking, eyeballing it and stuff. I swear stuff's stinkier, and I swear I've got more trichomes, but
but what are you doing unless you test,
I don't have numbers to tell you. I don't have numbers to like say, yeah, it's 5%, but I don't have any of that. But I can tell you that I'm happy with it. I'm going to continue to fuck with it because I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Good. So we went over then the moving light system we already talked about. We talked about the light combating aphids, right? The
that predator will hit aphids and spider mites, and it's been effective on thrips, fungus gnats. Somebody said root aphids. I think the jury's still out on that.
Because
I got to see that with my own eyes because root aphids are fucking assholes. And
I have never had that before.
Me either, but I've seen enough online and everything, and tried to help people online combat them. And there's some tough fuckers because they hide in the soil. And that's where your roots are, and you have to be careful with what you're dumping there. So, and light doesn't penetrate the soil very well.
Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. Those lights down, facing down. Yeah, you can do that, but you can keep them up too, and it is effective on the adults. And that's what they told us. They actually have pictures on. If you go to Grandmaster LED's Instagram, there's actually pictures of root aphids landed on the tarantula UVC lights, and we're like, fucking hell yeah, you want to see that. You want them, if you get them that close, they're definitely going to be fucked up. So, but yeah, I still didn't see that with my own eyes. So, I mean, I just know how much of a bastard that they can be. So I'd have to see it with my own eyes to say that it's like 100% effective against root aphids, but it definitely hurts them.
Good. Hell yeah. So you're trademarked. You are trademarked, right?
I just claim to be trademarked. As long as you claim it. As long as you claim to be trademarked, that gives you the claim. So if it ever comes to be a fight, then you were the one to claim it first, and it's
nice. So it's it's the poor. I used to call it the ghetto man trademark.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'll fucking wear that like a badge of honor, man.
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm gonna have to start doing it too. Then fuck it. CannaConvos is trademark now.
I had the SpartanGrown.com webpage for a long time. And it's just it doesn't make sense for me because I'm not really monetized. It doesn't, my paycheck comes from cannabis does pay me, honestly, when it comes to that, because it gave me my connections to get me my job working for an LED company. I mean, I've worked in the industry. I was working at a grow, but I just didn't see eye to eye the direction they were going, and no love lost. I'm not going to sign my name up to what they were about. So I walked away from that, but I'm still happy to work in the industry, even as an ancillary business. It's actually a little bit better. You get treated a little bit better with the banks and stuff like that.
Really? They're a little bit nicer?
Yeah. If you say I work for an LED company, you get a lot further in a bank than you say I work for a cannabis company. They just want you to fuck out.
Fuck yeah, dude. You say cannabis, you say LED, you're like, oh, good. You're growing things. And you're like, yeah, I'm growing things.
Exactly.
I told my I went for a cleaning of my teeth today, and I told a lady, yeah, I'm cannabis, grower and creator. And she's like, oh, wow, good for you. I was like, huh. I did not expect her to fucking say that because for some reason I think she's uptight, but she's not. She's really cool.
You would be surprised how many. I am surprised left and right by how many people are into cannabis, and it probably is because I just don't care anymore. Like if I I have my automatic comeback. The people say I smell like anything. I just say it smells like you missed a good time, and I usually go out.
And then just keep it pushing, right?
Yeah, it's like there's no hair off my back, man. You do. It's a problem that they have with themselves. That's cool.
So, what medium do you use to grow?
I do both. So I have my own home grow, which I love to grow organically.
Okay.
And, but I also am partnered with my best friend, and his screen name is Baked Pone, and we have what we call the Trichome Forge. And it's basically we both had where we actually both have worked at the same place commercially. He still works there now, and it's basically a mini one of those places. But if we could have designed it, like there were many days, many hours of us working side by side, leaf stripping or washing out pots or transplanting or whatever the hell we were doing, just saying, if we were if we were running this place, this is what we would do, kind of a thing. Well, instead of talking about it, we're now being it. We're being about it, and so we designed a mini one. We got it's got a bedroom, a good sized bedroom because it also holds mothers. And then we have 2 flower rooms, and we just finished the second flower room. We've already been flowering out of the first flower room, and we're just going at it slow. We're not trying to set any records. We just building it the way we want to build it. The walls are all PVC walls. They're panels and they're siliconed in between, and they're tongue and groove. So you can sit there with a hose and just spray them off.
Really?
And, yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, and it's cement floors with floor drains, and we got like 12-foot ceilings, and the flower rooms have 4 lighters, and we got 2 4x8 rolling tables in there on wheels, so we can move them all around if we want to. And so
so you can get in between those one spots and defoliate the way you need to be.
Exactly. Right? Move them away. Yeah, and it's just, and then we made it because our least favorite thing to do is trim.
So I fucking hate trimming.
So when we harvest, we just harvest fresh frozen. And so you harvest that sucker. You might trim the little tips off that don't have any, take the fan leaves off, but all the little tips that might not have a trichome on it. Everything else just gets broken up, thrown in a bag, and frozen immediately. No trimming. And usually within the 2-3 weeks that you would have them drying and trimming anyway, we've already got the concentrate back. And so it all comes back to us as, live rosin. So, and so
how much would that produce? How much would one room produce of live rosin? It's ROS, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, we have right now. What we're doing is we're pheno hunting. So we're usually running. It's the same strain, but it's like a bunch of different phenos. So until we pick out each winner pheno and then monocrop that, we won't really have good numbers because some are runts and some are big and some are bullshit, and some we cut out because we hated them from the get-go. And we're doing pheno hunts of like 40 plants sometimes. So it's like, you got to make decisions quick because you can't flower out 40 plants. And so, but like one of the strains that I bred, Spartan Puke, which was the Vortex to Donnyburger, the pheno we liked was number 19. So it's like, that's not really something you can do home grow level, have 20 strains or flower out 20 strains just to find the one you like the absolute best, but that's what we're going to try to do. And then with our second flower room, we're going to take all the ones that we select, like, that's the pheno we want. We'll do the monocrops in that room because we are forever addicted to pheno hunting, because like you said, we both have seed collections that are absolutely ridiculous. And so that's what we said. We're not going to buy any more fucking seeds. We're just going to pop anything we have, and we're going to just fucking run through this shit, man. And so that's kind of what we're doing, and we're loving it, man, because we're not trying to make it a job. We're just taking it easy. And we're
like they say, do what you love, and then the rest will come, right?
Exactly.
When you say you're not going to buy any more seeds, I laugh at that because that's what the fuck I say all the time. And then here comes another pack of seeds, and I'm just like, my wife looks at me and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "I had to. I'm addicted. What do you want me to do?"
When I popped a seed that was like 15 years old and it popped like it was 1 day old, I'm like, I'm addicted to seeds because these are my piggy banks. These save genetics forever, man. I mean, as long as you treat them good, they're good for a long time, man.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you can have one seed and fucking just create a fucking massive plants. Like because okay, hold on here. So let's rewind. I want to talk a little bit about pricing on seeds, right? Some people charge a lot of fucking money for their seeds, man, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I totally am like that's bullshit because they shouldn't charge that fucking much. But then on the other hand, I'm like, well, I mean, that one seed that pops good, you can make so many plants, clones, crosses, out of it. So
yeah,
I look on both sides. I'm very both side kind of person, so I could
sure, but I agree with you. I think the seed prices have always been pretty inflated, but then again, if demand is there and people are willing to pay it, then who am I to step in the way? But like, for example, my seeds that I have, I rarely sell them. I only sell them when I go to events. I like the idea because I have small batches to hand. I'm the farmer. I'm the guy that made these. If you have any questions, I'm the guy to ask right here, and I can hand it right to them. You know what I mean? I just feel good about that. And I charge them $20 for a pack of 6. So my 6
beautiful.
pack. So I think, because I think that as a person with seeds and you're wanting somebody to spend their hard-earned money on it, you're asking them to take a chance. So it's hard to no seed. I don't see on any seed pack, I guarantee that this is going to be the best weed you ever fucking smoked. You know what I mean? And if you don't think it is, then you can get a hold of me and I'm going to send you some other seed that's going to be the best you ever smoked. That doesn't happen. So it's just the last time you're going to see him, maybe. Give him a break. Don't charge him fucking crazy amount because it's probably not likely going to be the best they've ever fucking had, especially if they've been around for a bit. But yeah, it might be. But at the same time, I don't know. What's the seed worth? I haven't paid for a lot of seeds, but I got a lot of friends and I do a lot of trades.
Nice. Nice.
So that works out good for me.
Have you ever tried DWC?
Yeah, I used to do DWC every winter. I love to run DWC, but I don't like to run it in the summertime because it gets too hot and I don't have a water chiller. And water chiller is what I would really love. If I had a water chiller, I'd do DWC probably year round. Because
did you ever try like water bottles in the water or something like frozen?
Yeah, that's work, man. You're talking work, man. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Yeah, I've never done DWC, but I've done all the words, studying on it, and I haven't made the jump yet because I just want to switch to organics, and so organics is its own fucking money pit, and it's not a money pit after you get the supplies.
Once you get everything, once you get
everything, you're pretty good for a couple years. So I still doing that, but one of these days I'm gonna try the hydro bucket probably.
Well, just think, I encourage people to do that shit, man, because you're only gonna grow as a grower, and whether you like it or don't like it, you're gonna learn things and you're gonna do things, and it's gonna be exciting as fuck. Oh, yeah. To put a new plant, a plant that you already know maybe in it and see how it reacts in a new way. Yeah, dude, it's fucking, I encourage you to do that. Even if it's just one bucket, you don't got to put 12 buckets down. Do one, see how you do. You know what I mean?
I always forget about that too. I'm always like, oh yeah, you could just do one. Because for some reason, I always think when I think a DWC, I think like the 4 or 5 bucket thing, or 6 bucket.
Oh, you think that the connected undercurrent.
The RWC, system and shit. But, yeah, man, I'm gonna do it one of these days. I'm gonna fucking do it.
I still got my buckets downstairs. I'll have to break them out this winter. Yeah, the winter time, because I put them on the cold cement floor. That cold winter temperatures always helps radiate through that floor and keep the water temperatures cold, so it helps out.
Hell yeah, and you want cold roots, right?
68. Yeah, you want it. 68 is the perfect temperature because it holds the maximum amount of oxygen, but it's still not cold enough to hurt your roots too much. So it's about as cold as you can get. So anywhere 68 to 70, you're pretty good.
Nice. The Chocolope, how did that come out?
Dude, that's what we're rating right now. It's at our guy. So we froze them, and then we send it to our processor, and then he brings it back to us once it's all done. And we don't know yet, but it looked fucking amazing.
It looked
there was Yeah, there's two different peanut. They're like the really green stuff, and then there was the purple stuff. And I'm really excited for the purple stuff, man. It looks
Okay.
so good. It looks so crystally, and it's just I wanted to bite that plant. It's like
it's all right. We are at our 60-minute mark. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on, brother. You killed it, absolutely killed it. But I had one last question for you. Right? What are some tips that you would give a new grower?
My tips that I would give a new grower is find a community of growers. Find a community of growers online because you're gonna learn exponentially faster from a group of people that want to see you succeed. It's addicting to me as an online person. What do you want to call me when people reach out with questions? Because I love to solve their problem. Right? If they have a problem and I can give them some advice that fix it, and then they get back to me like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, take a look at these plants," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," I celebrating that victory right along with them, and it's amazing, and I love it. So, yeah, it's addicting. So I would say, this isn't the Stone Age. This isn't prohibition anymore. There's a lot of freedom out here, and embrace the freedom, and get within a community member, and it'll be someone you can lean on, and you can get questions right away instead of trying to dig through online forums that will tell you every answer, and you'll get nowhere. So get with somebody who's growing, that you can just ask them a question and get a response back like that on a Discord or on a YouTube forum or whatever your preferred forum. There's probably a grower forum or something on that platform. Find it, find your people.
Beautiful. I'm like you too, man. I love it when I turn somebody on to weed and they show me their plants that are like, when they had a little problem, and then I'm like, hey, try this, and then it starts to flourish. Like Blue, I don't know if you see Blue Hernandez on there. She is killing it, dude. She's starting to LST her plants. They're starting to she's actually starting to put the little, the bend stick things on in more LST. Like her plants are looking beautiful, and she's having such a great time, and I'm just so happy about it. I fucking love it, dude. Emily, I sent her a light too, getting her started. I was like, fucking, I see the spark in people, and I'm like, yes, let's get that spark going, man. Fucking all the way. Let's turn that spark into a flame, and then you guys outgrow me. And then I'll be
that's healing. That's healing to me. Like the healer is getting healed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all one big circle of love, man. And I fucking love it.
Love it, brother. All love, man. That's what I love. Cannabis. It brings us all together. It's the best fucking plant in the world. Well, Spartan, I want to thank you again, brother. You absolutely fucking killed it today. You've spread out so much knowledge, and that's the reason why I knew I wanted you on here, because I was like, this guy is full of knowledge, and we need to know it. So for everybody out there, don't forget about the UVC lighting. That's one thing that we want to do more research. I'm going to be putting in a bunch of whole little articles and everything up here so that everybody will know what it means, where it came from, all that, whatever information I can find, I'm going to be putting up there. Is there any sponsors or anybody that you wanted to tag in or mention?
Yeah, I'll shout out to Grandmaster LEDs, man. They're the ones paying my paycheck right now. So mad love to them. When you support them, you're supporting me too. So I'm usually the guy answering a lot of the questions. If it's not me, it's usually the CEO himself answering the questions, which is impressive.
Going to the top then, huh?
Yeah, man. We're a small team, as big as of a company as it is, and we cover worldwide. We're just mad people out there, like a team of 5 to 6 people in the core of us, making this thing fucking just hum and loving every goddamn second of it.
Nice. I love it, man. I'm gonna be putting up the tags, the websites, everything on here. We'll be mentioning you. Is there a YouTube page or anything on Grandmaster?
Yeah, he's got Grandmaster Level. Grandmaster Level is his YouTube. You can catch us usually on Saturdays. We don't hit every Saturday, but we might skip a show here and there. But check it out. It's definitely worth it. We usually give away a light every show. So you can snag a light. He's been doing it for years now. So tune in to Grandmaster Level.
The audience, you guys better go in there, go tap in, get yourselves one of these lights, man. All right, brother. That was a great show. I want to thank you so much for coming on. You absolutely killed it. And I will have you on for part 2 one of these days. Huh?
Please do. I love this, man.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you later. Everybody, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tapping in. Late.